Well, it's becoming very clear here at Southend United that we need to change our priority games for the rest of this season. We are no longer worrying about the bottom end of the table, and after a late comeback in our last game, we're starting to worry about the top. We've also got one addition at the end of the transfer window and two big games against sides we're now in a race with. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 68 of Saving Southend with me, Daniel. Southend are now officially saved, and for the first time in this series, we are fighting at the better end of the Premier League table because relegation is a distant memory after surviving on the final day in both of the last two seasons. We have now made it to the top end of the table, and while we're probably still going to finish at the bottom of this little pack between 4th and maybe 10th with Spurs. We're having a great old time and we're really enjoying ourselves. So if you're looking forward to seeing how we get on as we face fellow rivals for the top 4 today in Chelsea and Arsenal, then please do put a thumbs up on it. We've got Teddy Ivanov flying in with goals. We've got a bit of unfortunate injury news because literally 8 hours after the transfer window shut, Lejnik picked up a season-ending injury. Hugo got a couple of weeks out, etc. But we're doing really well, and despite a big defeat since the last episode, you wouldn't be able to tell it from where we are. And of course, Liverpool's administration, if you didn't see the last episode, has meant we're above them when we wouldn't otherwise be. So let's start by having a look at the transfer window and the schedule, because we finished the January window with, well, one addition to the squad. And that man was Marcus Obekshar, who came in from Midtjylland for about 3 million quid, our third Scandinavian signing of the last 2 months. He is a really good young player. He's an 18-year-old centre-half with enormous potential. He's got a few deficits in his game at the minute. He's not great on the ball. His anticipation and composure on the mental side are poor, and his stamina's not great. But he's 6'5", he's got room to improve. He's playing for the youth team at Denmark international level. And he's also going to be training well here. And he's now our 4th choice centre-half because alongside that deal, on the flip side, Reece Williams went on loan. He was really unhappy about the lack of football. He's the oldest player in the squad and he was starting to turn a few heads. So with him being a more influential player than, say, Kerr Smith, who was in a similar boat, I thought I'd better let him go out on loan. But 4th choice centre-half with us only in 2 competitions now, I'm pretty sure won't have to feature that much. And who knows, he may even come back a better player. We'll wait and see. So with that done, we have got to focus on the schedule because we've had a few games off camera since the last episode. And it's not actually been that great on paper. We snuck a victory away at 19th place Swansea with a 2-1 win thanks to Teddy Ivanov. Otherwise, we were pretty poor in that one. We only actually had about 6 fit subs for this game, and I took the calculated gamble of resting them all because we had the FA Cup tie 3 days later. We rotated for that, and it worked because Rasmus Jensen got his first for the club. Diogo Fernandez got his last for the club before his loan spell ended last week. And we also got Adeniji on the score sheet as well. A 3-1 victory, an injury to Cameron Ishmael, who's just back today. Overall, an important win, and a 5th rounder at home to Forest, so you never know. There might be a second cup run of the season to come, having had none for many a year. We did get beat 2-0 at Brighton though, who, despite having some good players, are a bottom half side, so that was a little disappointing. We made up for it though with a 3-2 win at home to Wolves in the Premier League. This time Teddy Ivanov with a brace and Lucas Daniel with a match winner, having just come off the bench in the 72nd minute. What a wonderful player he's starting to become, having settled in the nation. And then against Manchester City, probably the day I had to turn my expectation. We went 1-1 after Erling Haaland's early strike. He later went on to get a hat-trick and put City 3-1 up. We made 5 changes. We gambled a little bit. Rick George came off the bench and has put in a bit of a shout to be a left-back starter, which is great because Lejnik's now unavailable for the year. What we did also see was Takat Zuka and Wills, who came off the bench and scored to make it 3-2 and then 3-3. We got a point against Manchester City. That means we go into a month of very difficult games in style because we've picked up 1 point already, which we didn't expect. We now go away to 7th place Arsenal, host 3rd place Chelsea, and go away to 5th place Everton, which is why we're back earlier than we'd planned. And then next time out, if we get through in the FA Cup, we may well show that. If not, The other battle for us is Spurs and Tottenham, isn't it? So that's going to be good fun. We've got a big week to come in this series with 3 episodes, probably showing the progress we've made from last year. Coming of age year for most of these players, Teddy Ivanov being one example, but also the other additions, the likes of Daniel Jensen, those Scandinavian boys are flying. And now we've got Yukalano and Jimenez back as well. We seem to be doing a lot better again. We have, though, got the bad news on the medical front. We look at the injuries. Lejnik out for 4 to 6 months when he got injured. That was for a damaged Achilles tendon. He is out big time, and it's such a shame because he's been playing so well this year. And he just signed a big bumper new deal, which we now can't afford to replace him. And it came the day after the window shut. We've got Joe Hugel out for a couple of weeks, but Wills is doing well. And Sam Ammo will miss this one, but might be back for the second game of the episode. We go away to Arsenal with Chelsea having gone 6 points clear of us with a big win against Brighton. So let's see if we can finally compete at the top. As for the first time, Arsenal have changed a lot of their originals this year. They've still got Ramsdale, Timber, Rice and Saka. But that was 7, 8, 9 players last year. Now it's only 4. I don't know if that's because they're resting people for the Champions League. Or maybe they're just taking a gamble against us. I don't know. But let's see what team we can put out. We've got virtually everyone fully fit now. We've had to manage match load a lot in January, particularly because of our defensive and wide area injuries, as well as those 2 Argentinians on international duty. We actually couldn't rotate them all. We had a lot of heavy match loads. But now, we're pretty much back to full strength. We've got Sam Ammo missing out, Orellana, Obekshar and Morehouse miss out on the squad. But this is the 11 in full for today. Caljo is the man between the sticks with Baranda and the returning Ishmael against his former youth club at left back. Emir Williams and Parker reunited in the middle. Yakalano and Adozi, the 2 wide men. Should say, bar the last game, Sam Adozi's done really well deputising out on the left. Harrison's back in for Daniel after a couple of games out. Jimenez comes in alongside him. And then up front is Teddy Ivanov joined by Joe Wills, who will get his chance in place of the injured Joe Hugel for the next 2 weeks. He was one who just had a rest the last week or so. So let's go and get through to kick off in the first game away at Arsenal. A big one if we have got any serious intention of getting to Europe. But in truth, we've lost 5 in a row against Arsenal, and I would expect it to become 6 at the next attempt today. Well, it's 4 changes for Arsenal, and to be fair, the players that drop out include Saliba, Erdegaard and Waneri, who are all originals, so maybe they haven't replaced as much. Even on the bench, you've got White and Tierney, who's come back to the club. So Mikel Arteta has still got a lot of an original feel to that team, but we're going to tell the lads to prove a point. We're going to push forward, we're going to go for it, because we saw against City, we can compete. It's just whether we're a fresher team. Hopefully Arsenal have played in Europe. Hopefully they're knackered. But with the changes they've made, they've brought in quality. And that Cameron Ishmael throw is diabolical. Robertson runs in. Caljo saves. The early warning sign is there. Against your former club, Ishmael, you're proving why they released you. That is an abysmal throw-in. Well, we've got the ball at the back again. 12 minutes gone as Emir Williams plays out to Adozi. Good ball for Wills and Ivanov's making a run. But it's a great tackle by Sasana. He finds his midfield partner and is into Robertson up front. Second chance and a second good save from Caljo. That one, he did the old Peter Schmeichel, made himself as big as he possibly could. It's a great save to keep it at 0-0. And while Arsenal haven't carved us open constantly, we've lost the ball twice, given away 2 chances, and Arsenal probably should have scored from both of them. Have they got the same problem with a striker that's not clinical? We'll have a look at how good he is a bit later on. But here they are at the back again with Declan Rice coming out and he finds Robertson for the 3rd time. Baranda gets the ball at right back though. Good interception. And it's back to Caljo in goal, who's having a good year. Ishmael plays on for Adozi. It feels like this is still going to end with an Arsenal attack somehow. We're being pressed high and Ishmael is sort of running into a blind alley here. The ball to Jimenez is poor. Rice nicks it. We saw this coming a mile off. Saka switches from the right. He runs across the pitch. Finds his centre forward. It's good football. Toklamati's in. Great run. Baranda was turned inside out and that boy can defend. Caljo beaten at the 3rd attempt. He's done what his striker couldn't. And he's put Arsenal 1-0 up. It's a great finish from him. And he is a very good striker to be fair. What's Robertson like? We've got to see up front. He is a 23-year-old English squad player. Oh, wow. His finishing's exceptional. He's scoring basically 1 in 1 for England. He's not a regular starter for Arsenal, which seems a bit odd. as Emir Williams heads away. I'd hate to know what their first choice is like, as Chaddy Riyad cuts in from the right. Chance to shoot from distance, but plays short to Rice. I think this game might be one too far, although the City game looked like this till the 80th minute. We were 3-1 down, we were getting hammered, and then out of nowhere, we just found the goals, but that was at our own stadium. At the Emirates, we're getting carved open a bit now, as Lucas looks inside for Toklamati again, and that's a great challenge from Miranda. I've given him the wrong name, it's Martin Miranda, hence the confusion, but he deals with it well. The corner's in, and we survive at 1-0. It's been a long old half an hour, this. We're going to need a big second half turnaround, and I'm not sure where it comes from at the minute, because we're getting turned inside out. I'm getting told to put Parker on the left-sided striker of the front three, but that will just leave Robertson free, which we can't afford to do. So at half-time, hang on a minute, we've got a free kick with the last kick of the half. This would be very special. Who's over it? It's Joe Wills. Hasn't been prolific this season, but he's had moments, and that's one of them. What a strike off the post. Ramsdale got a hand to it. It was postage stamp stuff, though. You don't keep those out. Joe Wills equalises. And just like the City game, out of nowhere, we've found a way back into the game. We're going to pump the fists, or we're going to stretch the arms out. Well done, lads. Keep it going. Give me as much as you can. We're trying to keep the morale up. We're missing a couple of key players here, but it is not showing in the result, despite the performance being less than ideal. We're approaching the hour mark, and Arsenal have started this half quietly, so we will think about substitutions before too long. If you look at that graphic there, the second half, the match momentum's with us, which is why I don't want to make too many changes. But now with 15 to go and a few tired legs, I am going to take the foot off a little bit. We're going to look in midfield where we're really struggling. I'm going to take off Jimenez on a yellow for Bernberg. I know he's nervous, but he'll be all right. Ivanov is going to come off for Jensen, who's got confidence now he scored his first. Takatsuka on the right, but will be a support duty because I don't want to go too far. And on the left, Adozie is struggling as well. Martin Cox, not ideal for this position, but he's the man who's going to come on. We will give it 5 and then probably bring on Rick George at left back or Adeniji and switch Miranda over because we've got to give Ishmael a rest. He can't really do 90. He's just coming back from a month off. We've got 10 minutes to go. This second half has been a dream. We've kept it so quiet. And I am now going to take Ishmael off. I think I'm going to go straight swap with Rick George because I don't want to mess with the team too much here. And I don't want to mess with the shape, make people move around. If we can nick a point, oh God. We're down to 10. It was 2 minutes after we made the last sub. Takatsuka comes off. Didn't warm up properly, I'm guessing. And Rasmus Jensen will now have to do a job on the right wing. We're going to give it 2 or 3 more and then we're going to time waste. We're into how many? 6 added minutes. I think we've got to gamble it now. We're going to drop to cautious. We're just going to try and hold on. We're going to slow the pace down. We're going to be more disciplined. We're going to play for set pieces. We're not going to worry about the width quite so much. We're also going to slow it down with the goalkeeper. It's a very frustrating day. We're going to go defensive fullbacks. We don't need them to push forward. We've basically just got to hold a shape now. Bernberg can go to a support duty. And we try and see it out with Joe Wills just running a line up front. It's an Arsenal corner. Just don't be a set piece, please. Wills heads the first one away. Avila misses it. Back to the edge for Lucas. Ah, it's a screamer. It's gone through loads of bodies. It's in the corner. We're 11v11. We have that extra man at the edge of the box. That's literally what's caused it. We've matched Arsenal second half. We've given them a great game. But courtesy of that 86th minute injury, we didn't have the man on the edge to stop the shot. And that's what happens. It's an absolute rocket. And it goes for about 5 players on the way as Ben White puts the ball in, headed away to Rice. And again, we're a little bit short there. That's got to be offside. 3-1's harsh on us, but this is 11v10 against one of the best sides in the league. And for 90 minutes, we matched them. 11v11, we matched them. And for that sub to come, or that injury, sorry, to come 1 or 2 minutes after the final sub is just cruel. I don't know what it is this season. Despite the fact we've done really well, injuries have been a big problem. We've picked up so many, and we had it a bit last year as well. If we lose this by 3, if they score again here, it would be so harsh. They really don't deserve a 4th. It's been an incredibly close game, and on another day, it would have been a point. Now it could be 4-1, but Jensen clears it. Why the hell are we still playing? Blow your whistle, referee, Jesus. Like he's trying to get a few more injured before he finishes, isn't it? Rice to Salentic, and Arsenal carry forward again. There's that space on the right we talk about. Avila shoots over. And I'm left incredibly frustrated because it should have been a point again. And you can see how we got one against City. We had a threat. We were defensively solid enough. And no doubt they deserved to win the game, but that's not the point. It should have been 1-1. And that second goal, the winner, it came from us literally not having the extra man on the edge of the box. One of those things. Let's get to the second game. Hope we can keep 11 on the pitch fully fit. And if we can, we've got a good chance, as we've seen in the last two. Let's look at the positives here. We're competing with the best sides in the league. Well, here comes the Chelsea game at home under the lights on Saturday evening, but they're a team that are up in third and in that title race. Sam Amo is back, but of course Takatsuka is now out and Joe Hugill is not quite fully fit. So let's go and have a look at a team we can put together. I should just mention as well while we're here, we have got a couple tied down to new deals. So both Emir Williams and Harrison Parker have signed 5-year ones. We've got a couple of others tied down for 4. So we have now got a squad that primarily is tied down for a long time. The only one I'm worried about that could be an issue in the summer is Joaquin Jimenez. He's out of contract at the end of next season. He's a wonder kid. He's breaking through towards the Argentina squad, and we've not got any sign that we're able to keep him. So that's a worry for the future. For now, though, a sold-out Steve Tilson Park, a cracking fan base, and a cracking atmosphere. But can we deliver on the pitch as Sam Amo returns to the bench in place of the injured Takatsuka? He'll actually come in from the start for Edozie as well. And I think the rest of it I'm going to leave the same because we played really well 11v11 there for 90 minutes. And we only got done in stoppage time when we were down to 10. So I'm going to trust the team again. Same 11, bar Sam Amo back in on the left. Edozie on the bench, Takatsuka drops out. Let's go and get into it. At home to Chelsea and see if we can cause an almighty shock. Well, 4 changes for our visitors today as they're managed by Luis Henrique. And as you can see, they've made a few big signings again during this save. João Neves has joined, Giovanni Reina. They've got a new centre forward. They've brought in Militao at centre half. They've also got Vanderson on the bench. They've dropped out Makoko today. They know where a big signing is when they need one. They've got plenty of firepower. They've got plenty of good names. I'm just seeing if that is the original Andreas Christensen. It's got to be a different one, surely. I want to see an improvement from you boys, even though for 90 minutes you did your job last week. I trust you to make the difference, Joaquin. You have a bit of confidence. Now let's go and get into the first half. Hopefully, we can keep this one tight. But generally, it's been about outscoring teams. You saw it with Arsenal. You saw it with City, the 3-3. We like to get a goal here. Let's hope that we can get on the front foot. But this is one of the 3 elite sides in the league at the minute, and it may be a little difficult. Militao, Colwill and Fernandes playing a triangle at the back. Reece James fit again and into the central area. And here's Eder Militao. How they prized him from Real Madrid, I don't know. They must have had a couple of very good years in this save. As James gets the ball back to Enzo. Chelsea just keeping the possession, trying to get us out, toying with us from the kickoff. And it might pay off because the big switch is towards Mudryk. Miranda's beaten. He's got the chance to cross. Caicedo again. Why do we always start slowly? Mudryk in. It's not a penalty. Look where the ball's gone how many times. Do I have to say it every episode? I mean, there's so many penalties for and against in this save, but please sort out the animation. Look where the ball's going. It's going to be taken right-footed, and yet again, as Fernandes steps up, it is another slow start for Southend. You imagine how dangerous we would be if we could score the first goal in a game. The 3-0 against City, we went 1-0 down and 3-1 down. You remember that Wolves Cup tie a couple of episodes ago? That was a 2-2 draw. We were 2-0 down. It just keeps happening. And I don't know why we're such slow starters. I don't know what characteristics are making that, because the squad, in terms of its off-the-pitch attributes, are very good. And the determination is there as well. We're going to encourage, because again, Chelsea haven't created anything else. Their only shot on target is the penalty. But we've not had an awful lot either. And I'm hoping as we approach half-time, there's going to be a big second half here. Will's not having the best game, struggling physically, but there's no Joe Hugill. So it is going to be a little bit difficult to rotate again. But I'm going to say, let's pump the fist. Let's prove a point. Let's get the lads inspired and motivated. And let's see if we can get a reaction. As we go into the second half, we're only one behind again. And as we saw against Arsenal, we can get back from that. We then just need to keep 11. Maybe I'll save a sub this time. As Jimenez finds Wills out on the left-hand side. Sam Ammo back in the team and back in possession as Jimenez finds Ivanov to Wills. Oh, it's a glorious goal. That is Southend United and what we're trying to do. Quick, incisive counter-attacking football. 1 and 2 touch. Brilliant football all round. And nearly everyone on that left half of the pitch had a touch. It was a great goal. And the front two have combined. Wills is now knackered, which is a problem. We can chuck Jensen on later. But what a performance this has been so far. It's an even game, and if it weren't for the penalty, we'd probably be looking at a victory here. Let's keep encouraging because we're doing well. But Chelsea have got possession now, and it's this stage of the game where, again, do we run out of steam a little bit? Chelsea have brought people like Vanderson off the bench, and that's the difference at this level. We've not really got that depth when there's a few injuries. As Shalabar, another of the subs, plays out to Colwell, who's moved over to the left, and now Mudryk. As support, great tackle Jimenez, brilliant work. Support down the line is from Yukulano. Who's he going to run at? Everyone by the looks at it. Big switch of play towards Sam Ammo. And he wins it. Down for Joe Wills, who's in. Might be tired, but he's creating chances. That one on his wrong foot straight at the keeper. But it's a threat nonetheless, and with 20 to go. You could argue we're looking the stronger here. Again, it's the slow start that's costing us. But we will have to make a couple of subs because Joe Wills is knackered. We'll get Jensen on. We're going to bring off Sam Ammo for Samuel Adozie. I'm going to get Bernberg on again for Jimenez, who's just absolutely knackered yet again. And we're going to leave it at 3 this time. I'll make a couple as we get towards the end, but I don't want to leave us in the same position. Yukulano's having a quite difficult game, so he might be the next one. And Harrison's struggling as well. As Bernberg gets the ball right to Yukulano, finds Teddy Ivanov. It's another one of these moves, this time down the right-hand side. Ivanov to the byline, good ball in. Caicedo with a crucial clearance, but only as far as Adozie. Back to Cameron Ishmael. Oh, the shot deflects in. Off Eder Militao. And Cameron Ishmael gives Southend the lead. There it is, there's the goal. And now is the perfect time for that sub on the right. Yukulano off, Adeniji on. You go to a support duty there. And with 10 to go, we have the lead. We've played brilliantly yet again. And now we're looking at shocking one of those 3 sides above us. Oh, stubbed finger for Caljo. I don't want to make that sub. I've waited till the 89th minute. I'm going to take off Harrison in place of Lucas Daniel. I'm going to do our usual stuff. We're going to get defensive duties on the fullbacks. It did work in other games. It's just the Arsenal one. We unfortunately ran out of players. So on this occasion, we're going to do this. We're going to go for the usual. We're going to time waste. We're going to be disciplined. We're going to play for set pieces. We're going to slow it down. We will still counter, I think, because they're really struggling with that. But I'm not going to drop to cautious this time. I want to keep it steady, keep the 2 up front pressing. But you can see they've pushed their wingers up and we're really struggling with it. Harrison Parker, though, take a bow. That's superb defending. Big ball downfield and we've got the 2 big men up there. But he can't win it. And now, are Chelsea going to score before the changes? No, they're not, because Parker again gets a foot on the shot to take the weight off it. We've got 4 minutes added on. We're 2-1 up, and we have been magnificent. Can we put some gloss on it now? Adeniji to Lucas Daniel. Get in there. That's the win we're talking about. What a finish. He scores off the bench again, and he is really pushing for a place in that starting 11. Southend United 3, Chelsea 1. 4th v 3rd has ended in a very good result for 4th place Southend United. And after 2 seasons of fighting to the wire against relegation, surviving by 1 and I think 3 points respectively, we have now got ourselves into 4th place after 2/3 of the season. In fact, nearly 3/4. Yes, Newcastle 2 games in hand. Yes, Arsenal a game in hand. Yes, Liverpool only behind us because they're in administration. But that is the table. That's what it looks like. And this is becoming remarkable. What a performance. What a turnaround. Now, if we can find a way to start games quickly, we're going to be invincible soon. If we go and have a look at the schedule, we've got to turn our attention to the top end of the table. So unless we get through in the FA Cup and get an enormously huge quarter-final, we're going to come back for United and Spurs. The leaders at home, the bottom of the chasing pack away. We'll see how we get on against both of those. But in the meantime, if you did enjoy this one, please do put a thumbs up on the video. We're in 4th place in the Premier League, and I found this save a lot more enjoyable since I've started embracing the fact that FM's too easy this year. But after 2 battling seasons, a lot of these players are coming of age, and we're starting to see some superstars emerge from our signings of the last 2 summers. If you did enjoy it, please do chuck a thumbs up on it. If you want to stay up to date with the rest of the season and see just how long this run can continue, will we go on a stinker of a run at the end as we did last year? Well, subscribe and turn that notification bell on to find out. We'll be back here in 2 days' time, but before then, we've got to debut a new club in our head coach save tomorrow. If you don't know what happened yesterday, where we had a big summer of job interviews and offers, you can find that in the eye above. We also met our new club at the end of that one. As well as that, we had another Hamilton nostalgia trip on Sunday. You can find that FM09 update up there as well, in addition to links to the Twitch channel and the football podcast channel too. There's also a link at the top of the description to HelloFresh UK. Get 60% off your first box and free delivery, as well as plenty of other discounts for the next 2 months. But thank you very much for watching, for being here for a pretty remarkable day in the end. We're competing with the biggest sides in the Premier League, and at the moment, we're a game for anyone.